What up, patients? This is Marquis.
And AD.
We're excited to be with you again tonight for the Painkillers.
Yeah.
You know what we do, man. We just
talk your pain away.
Hey, man. So tonight we're going to jump into this subject, man. I got a great panel of guys in the room.
It's crazy right here.
And it's going to be just some ridiculousness.
This is crazy right here.
We got Cornelius. We got David.
I didn't think this could be done.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, I'm kind of the preacher whisperer.
Oh, you are.
Come on, niggas.
Then we all just start coming. It's like we all start looking up. We've been summoned.
We've been summoned.
I don't even need an address. We just follow the whisper.
Just show up.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So tonight, man, we're going to be talking about I need a hug.
Man, strength and weakness.
Strength and weakness. You know, like the ongoing subject and topic of guys being emotionless.
Yeah.
And not really sharing their feelings. And we want to talk about why it's important to really kind of tap into that side and how it's okay. So who want to start this?
Well, you know, we give them an option to start. I think that for one, we have to identify with what is strength and what is weakness. So before we dive into that, we're going to let this intro play real quick and then we're going to come back to it.
Let's do it.
If there's some medication I could take to make me wanna hate you and kill this ache. If there's some medication I could take, no, I would do it. But they don't got a pill for this.
All right, painkillers, man. Listen, you know, we talking about this, you know, I need a hug. I need a
And all the ladies out there listening, I know you got a guy that you just like, man, I just really wish he would just open up to me.
Deeper.
No, you don't.
talk to me. Yeah, bruh.
Right.
Bruh. So that actually pose a question because we're gonna get into what is strength and what is weakness. But Cornelius just said something. He said, no, you don't.
No.
They don't.
David said you don't.
Mm-mm.
Are women asking for things that they really don't want?
Yes, they
Yes.
are.
Absolutely, all the time.
Yes.
And I already see people in the comment section.
Yes, they are.
Like,
I actually wrote a book called Decoding the Silent Man's Language. And the entire book was based on the fact that my wife kept asking me, kept saying she wanted me to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I started talking, she got upset with what I had to say.
Absolutely.
And so,
Because they want you to talk, but they want to control what you say.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because the idea is, and I want to think one thing like what I have to
Just
explain to my
remember that-
wife is that every time you got upset
Mm-hmm.
about something that I said, you taught me to shut down more. And so you want me to talk,
Yep.
but you cannot get upset by what I
I
say.
share.
Yeah.
And so I think ladies are asking for a bit more than what they want to hear.
Yeah.
Hey, before we go deeper,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
just remember we're the only two married, so we gotta go home too.
I know.
Okay.
So
I know.
we
Listen.
kind of need y'all to speak for us. To a certain
Well, I'll
degree.
speak on both sides, married and divorced. Like,
And never been.
yeah.
You never been married, AD? I'm
No.
just playing.
Cornelius.
Somebody got to be, you don't know.
Oh, my God.
He getting married in this year, 2022.
To who? To what?
Married to the game. So,
man,
But I
think
definitely agree.
David,
when we talk about
yeah.
Emotions, right? I think it's important for us as men to really be honest. Women don't want us to be emotional, and you don't need that, right? Because to be quite frank with you, because we're not emotional, we don't know who we are when we are, right? We don't know the limit. I don't know who I am. When I tap into full emotion, I would probably hurt you.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want me as a leader to be unstable like that. So you want me to be communicative. You don't want emotional. And as leaders, we don't need to be emotional.
Yeah.
I researched that word emotion. Emotions are actually a 6 second chemical response that happens throughout your full body. So when you have an emotional response, it is a 6 second chemical response that happens throughout your whole body. Now, if I were to make a decision out of that 6 second response, I'm in trouble.
That's the truth.
So you don't want emotion. You want me to be communicative.
Yeah.
Man, that's so good.
And I think also just piggyback along what was said, when you look at the first 12 years of a person's life, that's when who that person is going to be as adult is going to be formed.
Right.
And there are emotional needs that every man or every boy has. We have to get those needs met. And I think it's those top 4 that, because of how our society is, we don't get them met. The acceptance, the affirmation, the affection. We don't get them met. So then we become silent men because we don't know what good affection looks like. We don't know what a hug looks like.
Yeah.
Because if daddy was there, then daddy probably didn't hug. And then mama was so stressed out. She was so tired from having to be mama and daddy that she didn't have time to hug. So there goes the affection. And the studies show that kids should get at least 8 to 10 hugs a day for affection.
Facts.
And then you got acceptance, you got affirmation, you got all these emotional needs that boys need. And then all that we're taught, and I know my story is, I was just taught to be a good boy.
Right.
Not a great man.
Not a great man. I was taught to be a good boy. Be a good boy. But see, my grandfather died when I was 6. And my grandfather was the one who would tell me, piss outside, he'd be the one to stand up straight, do this. But then after he died, then I had the directives of my grandmother. My mother said, be a good boy.
Yeah.
Nope. Good little boys don't do that.
Right.
So I learned how to be a good boy, but I didn't realize that being a good boy turned me into an emotionless man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the bad thing is I mixed that with religion.
Yeah.
Because then I went from being a good boy to having to now be the man of God.
Right.
And that's two boxes.
That's not even a person.
It's not even a person.
It's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You want me to be a thing void of emotion.
Void of emotion.
Yeah.
Without it.
Without emotion.
Yep.
Yep. What I found about myself, guys, is that I was so void of emotion and even affection, right, as a young adult, man, that I was going back to the place where I came from to try to find it.
Yeah.
Which was between a woman's legs.
Yeah.
Right. And so I found out that's not where you find emotion or affection. So now you got to figure out another way.
Right.
Who's there to teach me?
Yeah.
Right. So who teaches men how to be communicative,
right,
affectionate, even to how to emote in a safe way?
Yeah, I think it definitely starts in our adolescence, because I don't think that people really realize that you're not raising a boy, you're raising a man. And I think if we had the context of, I'm raising this person to be a husband or a father or a man, then it would be a total different type of construct. Because when I look at how we raise our girls, we raise them with the intent in mind to be wives, to be mothers. So everything that we put in front of them equates to that. They play house, they have kitchens, they have, and there's a big old thing going on right now on social media about the little boy who's making like multi-million-dollar in the kitchen because he cooks and stuff like that. So people, are saying, this is disrespectful. He's gonna grow up being gay. I would never give my son a kitchen. He needs to get, a bar set or something like that. So I think society as a whole really has confused who we are as boys instead of raising us to be men.
That's good, bro.
Yeah.
I think we're lacking context too.
Right?
Oh
yeah.
We're especially in the African American demographic.
Yeah.
Man, we have women who are raising boys to be what they think they need.
Yep.
As opposed to be what the world should expect.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, you think about it. In a lot of the black context, who is it? Who are the loudest voices in the black context? Who are the loudest voices at the cookout?
Bro, we gotta go home.
No,
remember, we gotta go home.
My wife is mixed, so only half of her gonna be upset. My wife mixed, bro.
Stupid.
She got a white mama and a black daddy.
Bruh,
So only half of her gonna be mad. But I mean, but just what you said at the cookout, at great grandmama house.
Yeah.
Who's the loudest?
Yeah.
The auntie.
Yeah.
They're the ones
women,
who are instructed.
yeah.
Then when you go to church, and this could be extremely controversial. I don't care, but you can't tell me that a lot of our church structure is not made to please women.
Oh,
Of course
absolutely.
it is.
It's made because they are the biggest consumer.
Of course
They're
it
the
is,
biggest
bro.
consumer because
And the biggest
pastors
givers,
they
yeah.
sit in there and they say we got to make this in a way. You know, the women gonna be the one gonna buy it.
Yep.
The women gonna buy it. So we got to make sure they kids are good. We got to make sure this is done.
Yep.
So they don't even look to see any way that I can cater to the man. So they say, well, I don't know why men ain't coming to church because
There's fuchsia
it's-
everywhere.
You shit.
It looked like an AKA strong in here. I can't find
you
my,
just said AKA strong.
I can't find my way. Yeah. It's facts, bro.
It is fact.
It's facts.
Don't forget
But
to grab
we're-
your little twirly thing before you sit down.
when you sit down.
You're bad.
But then you have women
Yeah.
who are ultimately training men. And then if you look on social media today, it is men who are following the guidance of women on what they should be in a relationship.
Yeah.
If you and now the big thing is red flags.
Yep.
So you got men who are
Yep.
reading what women are saying are red flags from men, and then they're
Right.
trying to
Wow.
adjust themselves to be good in the relationship.
According to the flags.
According to the flags.
But the crazy thing is she's talking about what she thinks she wants.
right.
But then when she gets him,
She don't want it.
that ain't who she wants because she
Yeah.
don't want the good boy.
no.
She wants the bad
want the
boy.
bad one.
But she thought she wanted a good. I'm going to church, find me a
Yes.
good Christian man.
Yes.
Then when you get him and he's soft,
Yep.
then now you wondering,
got an issue.
oh, I don't
just
want
wish
that.
that he just, just resemble more masculinity.
That's not what you asked for.
That ain't what you asked for.
That's not what you asked
because
for.
your whole list was all about, I want him to be kind. I want him
and talk to me and kind, open up.
No, you want a girlfriend. That's what you want.
what you want.
You want a girlfriend.
You want a best-
You
you
want a
want a
best
bae.
friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want-
You don't want a
talking
man.
about, oh my God. What did we do?
You want a BFF. You don't want
Yes,
a
what
man.
you want. You don't.
No,
You don't.
facts.
You don't want a
Facts.
guy. You
That's
don't
a
want a
fact.
guy.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
You don't want a guy.
And so
That's a
now,
fact.
as men, are we catering to that, or do we hold fast to?
I think
I think we don't
men-
try to touch it.
I'm going to say,
Go ahead.
I think most men cater to it for what they want, and then they revert back to who they are.
So to manipulate it, they use it, the system.
Yes.
But you want sensitive, and I think what I'm hearing a lot of men,
Yeah.
they not. So we'll listen long enough for you to tell me
Exactly.
what you need.
Yeah.
Then I'll be that. I'll be that
To
right?
get what I want.
to get what I want.
Mhm.
Yeah. But
That's why
women-
men aren't getting married today.
Period.
That's why they're getting married.
Period.
Men,
Yeah.
are, men are not getting married.
Period.
And women,
Yep.
there's so many women in the church who are like, I just want me a man. I don't know why they not committing
Uh-huh.
to me.
Yeah.
Because you don't really want him.
You
Yeah.
don't want him.
You don't want him. You
You
don't
want the
want him.
illusion. You want the wedding.
You want Jesus.
There you go.
You want matching pajamas on Christmas.
Yeah.
You
That's
don't
what you
really
want.
want a man.
Just
Yep.
for Instagram.
Yeah,
That's
for
what
the
you
Just
want.
for
post.
Instagram.
Yeah.
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 You
But
want
don't
this.
want a
You
man.
want this perfect image.
Mhm.
You want to marry Jesus.
Yep.
And you probably should just marry your Bible because that's as close as it's gonna get.
I don't even think they would want Jesus if they really saw him like that.
They're like, why your hair so rugged? You got
Why you keep talking to me like that? My daddy just died.
my daddy just died. You gonna tell me I gotta let somebody else bury my dead daddy? You rude.
You rude.
Red flag.
Insensitive.
That's another red flag.
That's another red flag.
Red
I don't
flag.
like Jesus.
He got another chick at his feet, bro. Like, oh my God, I'm
That's a
tired
red
of
flag.
Jesus.
So AD, let me ask you a question, bro.
Oh man.
Let me just ask you a question
Yes,
because
sir.
you single.
Yes, sir.
Single.
Well, I don't know. Well,
You see, he's single.
I got effects over here. That's why I want to sit over here.
That's the other call we respond
Okay.
to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So man, emotions, right?
hmm
When you meet a woman, how challenging is it for you to even tap in emotionally? What do you need?
These
That's
sound
the answer.
effects.
That's the answer. Yeah, that's the answer.
No, man, for real.
You need a hug, bro, or what?
I do, man.
I thought I was gonna hold his hand.
I know,
on
man.
one
Listen,
episode.
listen. He said, I'm gonna start holding your hand.
Yeah,
dude.
you need a hug.
I like for me, it's become very hard through time for me to tap into emotion. Before it was a lot easier. It was just natural. I remember if I think like 15 years ago, actually, honestly, man, think about it now. Before pastoring, dude,
12 years ago.
I was the
Hold on.
Yeah.
Can we go finish that? Because I got to ask you a question after that. Finish
yeah,
that.
but before pastoring, I was in a relationship. PDA.
Were you faithful?
Yes,
So
faithful.
you were in a faithful relationship.
Faithful relationship.
PDA, everything.
PDA, holding hands.
And you were abstinent and everything.
I wasn't absent.
I was just trying to
Okay,
push
here we
that.
go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Know what the hell y'all
comes out.
No, I don't know what the hell y'all talking about.
I didn't say that.
Yes, he was having sex.
He was not a man of God.
You know, that's the foundation of all salvation right there.
That's
Right?
what they say.
You know, that's what they say. You know,
Oh,
you
my
ain't,
God.
you can't be used if you.
If you be
Hello.
You can't
Hello.
be used.
Hello.
If you using
Yeah.
it, you
But,
can't be used.
But yeah, man. So like,
can't fool with
I was in a relationship, super, in tune. No, we're not going through that. I don't make nobody else famous.
Facts.
That's not true.
Ooh.
Stop it.
You
I'm
right,
saying
David.
anymore.
Anymore.
Okay.
Anymore.
Because you're AD.
Because I'm AD. And that's my superpower.
Yes, sir.
Superpower.
Amen. So, but not like, I was, I felt then I was super in tune with my emotions.
Mhm.
I was able to communicate those. Now, I'm not gonna say it's all based upon pastoring.
Sure.
Because that was a bad breakup. Her and I spent 5 years together. Thought I was gonna marry her.
Wow.
It came to a point where I started getting serious about ministry. Started getting serious about more serious about my relationship with God. I had already been preaching. I was itinerant, just traveling around, preaching, doing stuff. And literally, I got the offer to go to Huntsville to be a youth pastor because I preached down there. And her and I had a conversation. And I said, yo, I was living in Tennessee. I was like, hey, I'm thinking about, making this move, it's offer on the table. And then she said, yo, like you're getting very, serious about ministry. You've been moving a little different. I wasn't doing the stuff I was doing. You know what I'm saying?
So you started being abstinent.
Like partially.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
How can you be partially absent?
I'm
the only one who's just
I'm just saying I wasn't having sex as much. That's all I'm saying. It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. Stupid. So she pretty much it boiled down to, it was like she was very vindictive in the fact of the things that I shared with her in moments of vulnerability were thrown back up in moments of arguments. So I remember a very heated argument, and her exact words were, "That's why you're gonna turn out just like your daddy." And that was one of my biggest questions that I ask people all the time, like, what's your greatest fear? And then at that stage of my life, my greatest fear was becoming like my father.
Sheesh.
And
That statement alone is a trip.
you see what I'm saying?
Wow.
And
Sheesh.
she used that against me. We then broke up, but then, we went through the process, trying to rekindle, And I noticed a part of me had shut down. I could never trust her on the same level again.
After that statement?
After that statement. And I saw now my communication has shifted.
Yeah.
But then it came to a point where I had to accept the job. I had actually 3 offers on the table to go to Huntsville, Alabama, to go to Baltimore, because there was a very prominent pastor in Baltimore at the time.
At the time.
At the time, that I was going to be his youth pastor. and then
Who was it? Where am I saying it like that? Where am I saying?
we'll catch you up later.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Atlanta.
and then I had an offer to go to a church in Jacksonville, Florida. The Lord sent me to Huntsville, and I remember we were having a conversation, and we were trying to make it work. And she said, "Well, you're getting ready to do this, this pastor thing." And she said, and how she referred to it was automatically a red flag.
The pastor thing.
And then she said, well, I kind of feel like I don't want to be known as, Pastor AD's girl. I don't want to be known as Pastor AD's wife. I got my own identity. And she said, so you still haven't made a decision about this church? She said, so for me, it's either the church or me.
And you chose the church.
And I did.
You dummy.
I'm just
This got canceled again. No, this number 7. It ain't even New Year yet.
Red flag.
No, red flag.
Red flag.
Red flag.
Yeah.
I think it's something that you said though, AD, and that was about when she said you're gonna be just like your daddy. You said something. You said I believe I shut down a little bit after that.
Yeah, I did.
I think that's something that is synonymous for all men.
Yeah, trigger.
That once we hear it, once you start to use what I have given you against me, then I start to shut down even more.
Yep.
And then you want me to be more communicative. You want me to talk, but the problem is that now I feel like whatever I share with you now
becomes a weapon.
it's going to become a weapon.
Yep.
When a man shuts down,
It's going to
long
be
journey
hell to
back.
get him open.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
a long.
You better off just not being in my life no more.
Yeah.
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 If you open me up,
Yep.
and I'm open to you,
Yeah.
and you break my spirit,
Yeah.
You got my key?
it's
There it is.
that's why I stay guarded, baby.
Look, you knew he was gonna bring that back up.
Yeah. Nah, that's good. Man.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and so now, and then, through the journey of pastoring, because church people don't forget who you dated. It doesn't matter how long it was. It doesn't matter, especially and the problem with the church, even with the single pastor, I was a single pastor, but then they want you to get married, but they don't want you to date.
Hold on.
That's true.
Say
Because
that
I
again,
was a
say it again,
single.
say it again.
Yeah.
They want you to get married, but they don't want you to date. Wow.
Because if you date, then it's like automatically, oh, you having sex
you
with
having
them.
sex with her.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's what they connected to.
There's only two
Then-
options.
Then
then you get married and then they leave your church.
exactly.
All because
I
they
got-
wanted you.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened to Boone.
Cause-
Yeah. I
It's
lost like probably a good 30%.
because it's an AKA stroll.
Yeah.
Godly.
Yeah. So and then don't let you. So here's the dichotomy of it. You're dating someone. Y'all are in getting to know each other phase. If you go public with the dating process, then the church is now, you got people that are going to latch on to her because they were waiting on you to get somebody.
She's the potential first lady.
She's the potential first lady. Or then you got people that's going to hate her because they want to be in that seat.
and they're gonna make it
And
hard
then
for
they're
her.
going to make it hard for her. And they're not going to leave. They're just going to make it hell for her. Then you also got another group of people that are going to leave because, oh, okay, the visions of grandeur have left and I can't have. Then you have another group of people that if it does not work, then they're going to always remember her. So then what happens is you date her.
That's the whole church.
Man, I'm telling you.
Can't
Listen,
leave one
listen,
soul behind.
Listen, bro, you can't get me talking about it because I know it.
Yeah.
So then what happens is, let's say that relationship doesn't work. It could be 2 years go by. You start dating somebody else. You bring this other female to the church. They're going to be like, oh, but what happened to so-and-so? He was just dating. No, it wasn't just. The same way you done switched men based upon days.
Better get it. Go ahead.
The same way you switch girls, and so now they're looking at the new girl, comparing her to the old girl.
Yep.
then trying to pick her apart, and you got the same level of attacks. So then what it did for me, it just made me want to shut down. And I was like, yo, I'm a very open and transparent person, but this area of my life is private.
But bro,
Off
you need a
limits.
hug, bro. Listen. Is
To
there a-
hell with that.
No, listen. No, real talk.
He said he don't want.
You need a hug, bro.
Yeah.
Is there a woman? Do you think there's a woman who can hug you? And when I say hug, I don't mean like physically. I mean hug you, your heart, your soul. And what would it take for her to hug you?
I think so.
You think there's a woman that can hug you?
I think so. But
Okay.
but it takes my availability to make that happen.
Okay. There's a word. Okay.
Guard it.
He's
Guarded.
guarded.
Oh no, no. Like I was watching y'all go back and forth about that. I'm extremely guarded. So
He's guarded.
yeah,
Is there a woman that can hug you?
absolutely.
Boom. There's a woman that can hug you.
Yeah,
No, I mean like hug your heart. I don't mean
Yeah.
your shirt.
hug my heart.
I mean, but
Yeah.
Because you're not guarded.
Boone want to cuddle
That's why I
anyway.
just said I'm not guarded.
Anybody can hug you.
Yeah,
Anybody can hug you.
yeah. Everybody gets one chance.
Damn.
Yeah, everybody
Oh.
gets one chance.
Yeah, like listen, like
Everybody
am I
gets one
sitting
chance.
at?
Therefore,
right
you
now.
probably don't. You don't need a hug.
I do need a hug.
You get all the hugs.
He needs 8 to 10 a day. That's what the
See,
that's
I'm
what the
That's what the
therapist
statistics
says. The
say.
statistics
Yes.
say 8 to 10 a day.
yes,
So he probably needs a lot of them.
So
I do.
Man needs several hugs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes.
Do you need a hug?
I don't. I'm afraid of hugs.
Me too, bro.
I'm afraid of hugs.
Me too, bro.
I'm afraid of hugs because
Why are you afraid of hugs?
I grew up in an environment where there was no affection. So when you grow up in that environment,
Yep.
you grow up. You know, I grew up. I'm very self-sufficient, but I also became very performance oriented.
So have you put on hugs in public?
I do. I mean, I hug in public. I hug in public. You know, my wife and I, we show PDA. I mean,
As
all
a
that kind of
show,
stuff.
Or because you mean it?
It's definitely because I mean it. I mean, I'm one of those guys. I'm not gonna do it if I don't if I don't want to. I mean, even if I'm with my wife, I'm like, hey, I want to hold hands right now, or we might be
Really?
walking. Oh yeah. We're very open with each other. I'm like, baby.
You'll say it, or you just pull the hand away.
Oh no, I'll be like, baby, not right now.
Word?
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
gonna try that, bro.
Oh, bro, I do it all the time. Or like one thing me and my
try
wife do
it,
now is
bro.
we do pinky fingers.
Yeah.
Like I'll do a pinky fingers, holding the hands. Like I sweat real
Okay,
easy.
okay. So
I'm like,
it's something to it.
so I'd be like, hey, let's do pinky. Hey, baby, like not right now. She's like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But because
That's
we've
dope, bro.
had extensive conversation about how
It's
we
all
grew up.
about
She grew up in a
communication.
home where
Yeah.
her mom, I
Over-affection.
mean, all the time.
All the time.
She laid in her mom's lap and went to sleep. You know,
Yeah.
her mom was giving her massages when she was going. I mean, she was in a very affectionate household. When I got married, well, when I first met them, before I even got married, I met my in-laws. They were trying to give me massages, and I was like, "Yo, don't touch
Yeah,
me!
don't touch
Mhm.
me.
Like, I don't want that." But my wife
that
and
was
I,
the Caucasian side?
we did it. Well, her mom and dad, they are Caucasian. Her dad is
Was it a
deceased.
different vibe?
It was a completely different vibe. But her mom is a complete saint. I mean, her mom adopted 23 kids.
Wow.
And I mean, all of my in-laws, well, not all of them, but a good number of them, they have some type of mental or physical disability.
Okay.
So she adopted all the kids that nobody else wanted. They thought my wife had cerebral palsy. That's why nobody adopted her. So she adopted my wife. Turns out she didn't have cerebral palsy.
Wow.
She's good, but nevertheless, that's how I grew up. So I say that to say I'm afraid of hugs. So I've been in intensive therapy myself to learn about the importance of affection because I got 3 kids. And my kids need 8 to 10 hugs a day. My kids need to be cuddled. I need to cuddle with my sons. I need for them to see what strength feels like. I don't want them to just get strength in my voice. I need for them to know what strength feels like in my arms.
So
Wow.
your hugs aren't even for you.
Now, I mean, now I'm actually getting something out of it. I get some out of it with my
That's good,
kids.
bro.
Right.
I get some out of it with my wife.
That's good, bro.
But before that, it was still performance. It was like, well, I'm gonna hug my kids. I know they need it.
Yeah.
so
But
then
now
he's healing
it's
you as you
mutual.
go.
Oh, it's healing me as I go.
That's good.
I'm a lot more touchy now than I've
That's good,
ever been
man.
in my life. And
That's good.
I didn't like taking pictures. I didn't like doing anything because you grow up in that environment. You grow up thinking that you don't need to. You become very self-sufficient. Don't
Yeah.
touch me. You like, people when they, black people, they be like, They got to hit you on the knee, like, bro, don't touch me.
Don't do that.
Yeah, keep your hand to yourself, bro.
I don't like that.
I don't like that.
I don't like that, my boy.
I never liked that.
I don't like that, my boy.
I don't like that.
I don't like that.
I don't like that.
I don't like that. So COVID has been a good friend to you.
COVID was good, but then it was also bad because it made me see me.
And you're in the house. So
Well, we didn't stay in the house long. We was them people who was still traveling a little bit.
too.
Okay.
We were still gone. But nevertheless, we were in the house a lot more.
okay.
And so that's what made my wife and I have a lot of conversations. We celebrated 10 years. When do we celebrate 10 years? During COVID.
Okay.
So last year, year before last, one of them two. But anyway, that our 10th year anniversary, we had a really, really serious conversation
On the day of about our marriage,
That's good.
about
Where
where
we're
we
going
were
from here.
and what we're
Yeah.
going and what we need to do in order to make this thing work.
That's good, man.
And one of those things we talked about affection and affirmation and acceptance. And I heard her tell me all the things that I wasn't doing. And then she got a chance to hear the things that I wanted that I feel like she wasn't doing. It was a hard conversation to have. And that's, I think, going back to the thing about needing a hug, and for men, I think that's one of the missing pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful to have a wife who is willing to hear me.
Mm.
And
Yes,
from
sir.
what I get from a lot of her girlfriends who are married, they don't sit down to have the opportunity to have the conversation with him to really hear what he has to say. So he don't talk.
Guys, I've
Yep.
been married 19 years. And I come from a single parent home. My mother was super affectionate. So I came into the world like very affectionate. My wife was not, right?
Wow.
So when we got married, I'm like, yo, I need a hug.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's like,
It's like,
yeah.
I need you to pay these bills.
Right.
Need you to pay these bills, bro.
Yeah.
Get this
Yeah.
water
Right.
going.
That's your hug.
Yeah, that's your hug right there.
So now, as we've grown and matured, because I've been kind of, I haven't had the hugs.
Mhm.
I don't need them anymore.
Oh.
Now,
Hold on, can I ask you a
of
question?
course,
Do you say that you don't need them, or have
I
you,
tell her I don't need them.
or have you just trained yourself to be sufficient without them? Because remember what I just said, I didn't get them. So I told myself, I told my wife when we got married, I don't need to be hugged all the time.
Right.
I don't need you to tell me you love me.
So I've trained myself to say I don't need them,
Yeah.
right?
But you crave them.
Absolutely.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Okay. So to be very transparent, I've stepped out. And when I stepped out, I got the hugs.
Got you.
Well, when you say stepped out, do you mean like stepped outside or
You know,
Did you
damn
go
well.
outside- did you go outside the house, or
You
did
stepped
go
out
across
of
the
the
to the
office?
gas station?
Yeah.
Like you stepped out of the meeting?
Nah, I stepped out.
But this is one of the reasons why I love David so much, because
Yeah,
he's
he's so
able to be
transparent. Yeah.
open
I'll tell
and
you,
transparent.
right?
Yeah.
So I did step out and got all the hugs,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't real.
Yeah.
Right?
It was
Mm.
escapes.
It was escapes. It
Yeah.
was pain meds,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So I had to make a decision. Do we go back home to no hugs and not be numb? Or do you numb yourself with fake hugs
Mhm.
and go home and be fake?
Mm.
So I had to let the pain meds go home and get honest and say, you know what? I may never get hugs again
Mm-hmm.
the way I desire hugs.
Mhm.
And I got to be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
So now I think I still crave the type of hug that I know I desire,
Right.
but I don't think my wife has that capacity. So what I've learned to do is accept the hugs she gives.
What kind of
Wow.
hugs do you crave?
I need to be affirmed.
Okay.
I need you to tell me I'm the most handsome man,
Got you.
more handsome than Boone,
Got you.
Cornelius, and Adrian.
Well, you
probably
ain't gonna
more
get
handsome
that.
than me, but I don't know about them. To lie.
Well,
I mean,
but net shirt up to the top.
Yeah, but do the best you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, do what you can.
So, but,
as-
but
as a
affirmation?
result,
Yeah, yeah,
affirmation.
yeah.
Man. I'm
Oh.
heavy on affirmation.
Yeah.
And she affirms me not the way I was asking for it. As a result, I've had to learn how to receive the way she affirms me.
Mm-hmm.
She affirmed me by not leaving my ass
Mm-hmm.
after I stepped out. That's
Yeah.
affirmation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How did she find out though? Did you tell her or you
Of
just?
course not.
Oh, okay.
Dun dun dun.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah, come on.
Hold
What we got?
I thought you about to.
Why is it like an unsolved mystery?
Right, yeah, it do
We
sound
know
like
that it's
it.
not a mystery. It's been solved.
There you
Did
go.
not tell.
Got you.
That's how I felt when I got exposed.
Yeah.
But that's helped us.
Yeah, got
so
you.
now
You-
we're better.
You know, I've heard. I mean, I have my own opinions about. You know about the 5 love languages.
Yes.
I've come to the conclusion, just kind of studying emotions and childhood, the unmet emotional needs of children. When I look at the 5 love languages now, because my wife's number 1 is touch. I scored a 0 on touch. 0. Mine is
You
0.
do not need it.
Just I convinced myself I did. Now, if I took it again, it would be much higher.
How does that impact you sexually, bro? Like, how do you approach it? If you don't need touch, right? How do you?
Oh, it's like a machine. It's like when it just come on.
It's
Right.
on and off. Right?
Yeah, when
It's
she
a
when she
compartment.
when she walked by, it's like, oh yeah. It's just a
Yeah.
reminder, like,
you
oh,
got to
yeah.
touch me.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
get this done without you even touching me.
Oh, I gotta touch her though.
He got to touch her. She ain't got to touch him.
Don't touch me.
She
Don't
better
touch me,
touch me.
Wow, that's good, bro. I cut you off. I
No,
apologize.
no. But I look at the love languages now, and it's almost like those 5 love languages were an indication of what I didn't get as a child.
Of course.
Did that hurt?
I think all of it has hurt. All of it has hurt. Like acts. I think the only reason why I show love and I receive love with acts of service is because I taught myself to be performance driven.
Mm.
So when I perform, I'm admired.
Right.
I'm adored.
Right.
So I think,
Which
well, I'm
you
gonna
didn't.
perform for everybody else.
So
I'm
you can get that,
gonna
yeah.
serve everybody else.
'Cause
I'm
what
gonna
gets
serve for my
rewarded
wife.
gets repeated.
Yeah.
Yep. And so my wife and I would get into arguments, and I would say, she would say, well, I wish you would just, hold my hand or do something like this. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I drive you everywhere. I do all these things for you. I do this. You don't ever appreciate the fact you haven't driven. Like my wife has never driven me except twice in our 14 years of being together. I drive her everywhere. I carry her bags. That's just what I do, but that's my service. But for her, she's like, I don't care you do all that stuff.
That's
Right.
right,
I just want
bro.
you to touch me.
When we got married, man, I didn't know how to be a man, right? So I saw my friends bring their wives flowers every Friday. So every Friday, I would stop by the store and bring her flowers. Every Saturday, I would be the one putting them in the vase. And I asked her, I said, why I got to put your flowers in the vase? I don't like flowers.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I had to now find out, what does
What
this
do
woman
she like? Yeah.
What does she want and need? Because what I was, this ain't it.
I love that. And I love the fact too that y'all chose to work that out.
Yeah.
Because
Everybody don't.
nowadays
Yeah.
that's not
That's
not the
that's
thing.
the way of escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David, if I can ask you this,
Yep.
how was that process of working that out? Like how long, and is it still a thing?
Oh, it's always a workout.
Okay.
I'm always just tonight I posted our picture because I love us. I love this, but that's also receipts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's receipts.
Yep.
I am where I said I am.
Accountability.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
accountability, right? So I'm always working it out. What broke it for us was for years I didn't see her anymore. I didn't see her. We were just passing ships. And one day I saw her crying and I felt that thing. And I was able to see her and then able to get honest, right? And that was the break for us. And it's just been, I've been proving myself ever since. It
So-
used to be that she was asking me for receipts. Now I love giving receipts. I love it. I just love you knowing where I am. I know where you are. This is just, we are
Brings
in
you
the
closer.
best, we're in the best place we've ever been in 19 years of marriage. It's great.
So David, because would you say that
Nope.
there's a difference?
What dog?
There's a difference between, because, for example, you do something wrong, you did something wrong. And your wife says, I choose to forgive you. At that point, she's making a decision. I choose to forgive you. We're going to work this out. When you said, you're trying to prove yourself,
Sure.
where I have an issue, I am with affirming the fact that I'm not doing that anymore.
Sure.
But to have you to have me at a place of I have to work out and prove to you every day
Mhm.
that I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm not that. That's where the issue is for me, because it's like, well, did you really forgive me? Or is this a thing that from now on was going to be over my head, that I have to prove to you that I am where I say that I am?
It started out as I have to.
Mhm.
It was a requirement. She wanted all the passwords. She wanted everything.
Mm-hmm.
It turned into I get to,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's because at that point, it's not even her asking me anymore. I get to do this,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's a shift, and it's no longer work for me. It's
Mhm.
just, it's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you have a situation like that, you have to, if you're going to build trust,
Right.
it's not about what you want.
Right.
It's never about what you want. So if I'm rebuild, if you and I, as my brother, if
Mhm.
I offend you and I need to rebuild the trust, I don't get to tell you what I get to do.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me what you need, and if I'm going to be here,
You
I will
comply.
serve you in that capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we're going to leave.
And I reserve that right to say, no, I'm not doing, or you reserve that right to
course.
say,
That's
I'm
That's why
not
people
doing
get
that.
divorced.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why people
Yeah.
get divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they say I don't want to uphold that end of the bargain.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because you're saying I got to do all these things to earn you back,
Right.
and I don't want to earn you back,
Mm-hmm.
or I don't want to do that. I
Right.
want you, but I'm not gonna do all that to get you.
Yeah.
So
And
they-
it was
they
like conversations like this when I was pastoring before I got married. I was like taking all these notes
Mm-hmm.
of like what people were dealing
When
with
you got married?
before I got married.
Yes, sir.
So then when I entered into my marriage, I was like, I'm going to start off by doing all of that so I don't be in that position. So all my passwords, my location, we only had one social media, everything was joint. And it still got me the opposite of what I was trying not to get.
Mm.
But that came down to that individual's insecurities, not necessarily what we weren't doing, you know?
Mhm.
So I think to what you said, I think it really comes down to who you are and what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted not to be in these type of positions, so I did that. But then that person had other issues internally. The same for you. Like if you say, I don't want to do that,
Mm-hmm.
that's a personal thing. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it comes down to a requirement per se, more than what it is like for the individual. Like I felt like I'm getting married. I don't want to hide nothing. I ain't got nothing to hide. I ain't trying to be in a counseling session like these ones that I've done. So let's just share everything, you
Mhm.
know? But that was something that I wanted to do. It wasn't necessarily I felt like I had to. So I think it's an individual type of decision.
Are you guys
Gotcha.
okay with women seeing your weaknesses?
I
No,
am.
I'm okay. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
I've gotten to
fine.
that point now.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I talk about my weaknesses openly.
Yeah.
You didn't start out like that?
Oh no,
Oh.
because
I
because
covered-
Cornelius
because
wasn't
to-
like this 2 weeks ago. What you
because to
talking
be
about?
man is to not be weak.
Say that again.
I
bro?
said
Yeah,
I said
based on society.
to be man is
Yeah.
not to be weak.
You can't be weak.
You can't be weak. You're not supposed to
You're
be.
not supposed
Not as a
to.
man.
But it took me time to learn that true strength is vulnerability,
Yeah.
and that if I'm going to ever be in a position of power, I have to live in a space of vulnerability,
Absolutely.
and that's exposure.
Yeah.
But here's
I'm
the
gonna
thing:
be in
you
a
can't expose someone who is willing to be vulnerable.
Absolutely.
You can't.
You've
you
already
snitched on
given it.
yourself.
Yeah,
That's why I
I'll
told
tell
you
them
sit
myself.
down and tell everything in the beginning.
Yeah, it's like this is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
This is it, and here are my weaknesses.
Mhm.
It's unfortunate because oftentimes when you are in your weak place, people who want to take advantage of you, they try to take advantage of your weaknesses. They try to take advantage of your vulnerability.
How did you get there, man? Because your wife, it sounds like she came in with that vulnerability or that openness, and you did not. So
Well-
how did you get there?
I don't think either one of us really came in with it. No,
she
because
was affectionate but not vulnerable.
Yeah, she was affectionate, but not necessarily vulnerable. And the reason being is because we came in under the guise of the man of God, woman of God. It was the purity culture, something that she and I that we pushed
Mm-hmm.
because we thought that somehow you get more marks with God because you were this ultra pure.
Yes.
And so you were trying to do
So
everything
good.
in the guise of, well, we're getting married because we're going to have a great ministry together and we're going to do so much for God and do so much for this.
Perception.
And then we look up and we're like, well, who are we? Who are you?
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah.
And then when my wife didn't know, she didn't know that I cursed until year 8 of our marriage. She didn't know I cussed.
That's so good.
My wife didn't even know that my wife didn't know that one of my favorite rappers is J. Cole. She didn't know that until year 8. Because I only listened to rap when I went to get my hair cut by myself, when I went to the grocery store by myself, when I went to the gym by myself, and when I got back in the car, I would hurry up and turn the gospel station back on. Because I was like, well, let me make
wanted
sure
those marks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because also for me, because I grew up in a female dominated environment where I had to be the good boy, and being the good boy meant you had to please the women. That's right, you being a good boy. Look at you being a good boy. And so I get married, and now I'm a good boy for my wife. See, baby, look, I turned it back on. I got this going, baby.
That's
look,
so
I went and did this.
Yep.
I'm listening to Carrie Joe. You happy for me? Am I a good boy for you?
Yep.
I get
No, I don't even want to listen to Carrie Joe.
Yes.
and I'm a good boy for
For
my wife.
Absolutely. That's how a lot of men are.
Yeah.
You're taught to be a good boy at home.
Happy
you go to
wife,
church.
Happy life.
That's the craziest crap I've heard in my life.
Crazy.
Because the
Now the
man's
wife is
emotions
gonna-
don't matter.
They don't matter.
They don't matter.
It's about what the wife wants.
And the old heads around here, I'm trying to tell you, just keep her
Just
happy.
Keep her happy.
But that's the reason why old guys die first.
Yep.
They die lonely, they die silent, and they die alone.
She's happy.
And she's happy.
Then she go gets another good boy
Uh-huh.
after you pass away.
Yep.
To make her happy for the rest
But
of
this
her
time,
Yeah, because she got your check now.
Really good boy.
Yeah, because now she got your check. So
Yeah.
now she's getting your pension.
Ooh, you were a good boy.
You were a good boy. You did everything you were supposed to. Come here, baby. You did everything you're supposed to do.
I hear
Now
all
you
the
did.
women. I hear all the women online
trouble.
right now. Y'all need a woman in that room.
We got one.
Like-
And, but see, and
They
I
want
think-
a
I
woman
think-
on the
but
mic.
I
Right.
think- I
That's
think-
that's how it starts.
I think that's another issue because
But
women
that's the-
always say they want hear men talk.
And then when we
Then
talk,
when
they
men
want to
talk,
have
they
their
like,
input.
nuh-uh,
Yeah, y'all need to.
because y'all don't
Yep.
understand what y'all.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
y'all didn't get a
We got-
woman's point
Yeah.
of view. Listen,
Listen.
But that's the thing because it's always a place of rebuttal.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Our emotions are so immediately. It's like our emotions can't stand alone.
Mm-hmm. Because you're gonna need a woman in order to validate it
Right.
or to challenge
Confirm
it.
it,
explain it.
to tell
Explain
you,
why
you
or
feel
whatever.
this
Yeah.
way.
Right.
So it's like
So now I'm a child.
And why you're not, that goes back to what you said, the good boy.
Yep.
yeah.
Mhm.
So it's like I saw this post. Like I followed this page that says, it's a kind of a suicide prevention page, and it's like it's okay.
Oh, you need a hug for real.
So like
You
like for real.
We're gonna give you a group hug tonight.
We got you, bro.
So it says, so I follow this page like because it's just uplifting. It's just, you know what I'm saying?
It's encouraging.
So it says, it gave stats on how men are the highest percentile of suicide rates.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Right. And so I see the post and it gave numbers and it gave all this stuff. And I just went to the comments. And in the first comment, it was a guy that said, that's because men's emotions don't mean shit. They never meant shit and they never will mean shit. And I looked at it and I was so many men saying, this is so true. This is facts. And I'm just like, God dang, like, even though at times I feel that, right? But it's like, this is a thing.
Yeah.
Like, you want us to talk,
Yeah.
then we talk, or if we're vulnerable, we're weak. Like, it's like, what do you want?
I think that a lot of men, since we don't communicate, we get into escapism,
Of course.
which is why a lot of men love video games.
Mhm.
I can put on my headphones
Takes you from reality.
and I can go out of reality
Or porn.
Yeah.
because porn keeps me in a place of power.
Yep.
I don't have to meet their mama. I don't have to go and I can take them
Right.
out on a date. I can do all this, but I can still be in a place of power. If I don't like you anymore, if you don't look good to me, I can change you to
Switch.
somebody
Yeah,
else.
so you're always smiling. It's
Always
yours.
smiling.
Yeah.
So it gets us into a place of escapism. And it's not just that more men commit suicide. It's just that, and it's also that we commit dangerous, violent suicides.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're the ones we go the extra mile with it to
Yeah.
make sure
Yeah.
that we're gone.
Yeah.
I forget when I talked about me being suicidal, it was like people were like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah.
I had one older pastor who said, you need to be a man. You need to just
yeah,
pray.
suck it up.
Pray,
Just do it,
suck it
yeah.
up.
Mhm.
Just pray.
Yep.
And I thought to myself,
I've heard that.
like, man, I'm legit dying.
Yep.
I'm dying and I'm crying out. What pissed me off was the fact that I had so many, brothers who would say, or men who would say, just tell me if you ever need anything.
Right.
Tell me if you ever need anything. And now I'm like, I need life at this point.
Facts.
Literally.
I need life.
Yeah.
And I can't get a text back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could I get a preaching engagement?
Right.
I can't get a text back, but I get a preaching engagement or better yet, you send me back one of your sermons. Nigga, I don't want to listen to your sermon. I don't care about your sermon.
Yeah.
In this moment, I don't want to hear the performer you.
Yeah.
I know you.
Yep.
I don't even follow you on Instagram because I don't care what you post.
Yeah.
Because I know you. We have a relationship.
I don't want the performer you.
I don't want the performer you. That's you performing on the stage. Because nigga, I know you not like that when you get off of it.
Yeah, we know this.
I know you not like that when
J.
you get
Cole,
off
your
of it.
favorite rapper too. I know.
And you know it.
I know J. Cole.
I don't know. Mystical might be his, but I'm just saying.
Right.
Shake it fast. Watch yourself.
Well, watch yourself.
You stupid.
Show me what you're working with. But
I
yeah,
think that's so true, but I think too that most men too, when they're in those type of positions too, they looking for an escape too.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
know what I'm saying? So a non-response is their escape.
You gotta unpack it, bro.
Because, like, for example, like,
so if you
I've
reach,
been
if
in
I
that
reach out to
position.
you and I say, "Hey, I need help,"
but I'm in a different space though.
No,
I'm
not-
saying
yeah.
if I was like where I was before
yeah,
and someone had hit me, I would have ignored them too because I'm like, I need that person too.
Yeah,
do too.
and
You
I
see what I'm
get
saying?
that.
Like, yeah.
Absolutely.
And the reality is
Absolutely.
that I don't know how to say that to him, even though I'm now like at a stuck place because he's man enough to say it to me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? So it's just
that's
like,
even worse.
what? Yeah, what do I say? How do I respond? Do I respond?
Yeah.
Like,
Me too movement.
You-
Me too.
yeah,
I
it's
need
like,
it too.
yeah.
Yeah.
and then he becomes like, well, then do I let him down because I say me too, or do I look less of a pastor or less
Yep.
spirit? Like, it's so many dichotomies. Then we begin to wrestle with because even imagine what all the things that went on in his mind to even send a text.
Yeah.
How long did it take him to process that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And now I
The
don't
other
know what to
question
say
too
back.
is,
yeah.
I need to know, even am I third on the list? Am I the last one he's reaching out to?
Yeah.
Is it suicide after this? I don't even know that.
I
Yeah.
think it's something that's perpetuated in our minds as men. Like, we got to have these safe space, but it's hard to get to that safe space when you got men who are performing.
One thing I love, there's an organization called Refuge Foundation, and I
Mhm.
got to get you guys out there. I go out there. I started going maybe 3 years ago, and you literally go. I've gone to Montana and Wyoming, but you go out in the middle of nowhere, and you don't have your phones. You have your phone, but you don't have internet service. You don't have Wi-Fi, all that kind of stuff. So you're forced into this house, into this community with these other guys. You sit around a big table. That's where you eat. There's no sermons. There's none of that stuff.
It's community.
It's just community.
Yeah.
And it's 5 days. So if you want to sleep all day, you can. If you wanted to go fly fishing, I'm not what you call outdoorsy. I'm more indoorsy. But still just being out there on the boat, fly fishing,
The experience.
the experience. But the reason why I brought that up is because that is that type of safe space that I didn't know existed. To just be in a room full of men who are able to be vulnerable because who they were outside of the trip didn't matter there.
Doesn't matter.
We didn't care. We didn't care what your
Cornelius.
name was. We didn't care if you had. We didn't care if you had a church. Nothing. We never do.
Yep.
So now I host these trips because one of the things I love to see the new pastors who come or the new guys who come. It's like we don't care. I actually had a guy who was there last time about a month or so ago, and he was talking about, man, I've done this business and I've made over $1 million and I've done this. And this 21-year-old guy who was sitting there working, he looked at him and he said, I took a shit last night. And the guy looked at him like, what? And he was like, nobody cares how much money you've made.
Right.
He said, we don't care about this out here. He said, dude, look, we're an hour and a half from the airport. We're in the middle of Montana. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
So we need those safe spaces.
Yeah.
The problem is that, and I may be out of bounds in admitting this, but the problem is that the church ain't it.
Oh no.
And the barbershop used to be it, but the barbershop ain't it no more.
Nah, because everybody trying to be a celebrity barber.
oh, in LA, everybody's a celebrity barber. Everybody. Does anybody cut hair for less than $150? Can you
I wouldn't
send it
know.
to me? I may be going bald soon, bro.
Not with them braids.
My son. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My son haircuts are $60.
Wow. You better learn how to cut hair.
I got two boys. My youngest son, I ain't never cutting his hair. But we need those safe spaces.
I agree, man. I totally agree.
I think that's the reason why Jesus got those men and said, "Come on, y'all follow me," and then they went out.
Yeah.
Because like, now I got to get you out of the city, get you
Yeah.
away from the crowd, get you away from the people.
Mhm.
I got to get you out here if you're gonna know me and if I'm gonna know you.
Yep. And he was real from the get go, though. It was like, he literally said, "Hey, I have no place to lay my head."
None.
He wasn't trying. Who is my mother? Who is my father? Who are my brothers? Like, it was very real, authentic, transparent. And you look at like a person like, Samson, who falls from performing, having that desire and need to be needed.
David.
Yeah, David. Like, it's just.
Jesus like, whatever. And I think even a lot of pastors, preachers now, if Jesus would say, "Come and follow me," and Jesus said, "Who are you?"
Right.
And he would say, "My name is." I had a guy who told me that. I walked up to him and I said, "Hey," said his name. He said, "Bishop."
No, he didn't.
And I said, "Your mama call you Bishop?" He said, No. He said, "I'm Bishop," and he said his name. And I was like,
Wow.
"Nigga, your mama call you Bishop. I'm gonna call you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you by your name your mama
Facts.
gave you."
Mama
Yep.
call you.
Yeah. But even then, I think a lot of people would be like, Jesus would be like, "Hi, what's your name?" And they say, "My name is
They're
Bishop
gonna say
so
the
and so."
title, yeah.
Because we're so performance based,
Yeah.
so caught up in the identity. Man, it's just
It is. And it's
It's
probably
insane.
because we don't have an identity.
Well, but I think too, it goes back to the point that we were talking about, men not having a safe space. So if we don't feel like the real us has a safe space, then what are we going to do? We're going to revert to being who we
everybody
feel
else
is
wants us to
accepted.
be. Yeah.
So we're groomed to perform.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's like,
From
yo,
childhood.
the real me is not being accepted. So I'm going to turn around and be who people want me to be.
Right.
Yeah.
And it immediately puts us into a spiral of performance.
But that's where domestication comes in. We've all been domesticated.
Yeah.
There's a book that literally transformed my life. I think all of that was called The Four Agreements, and he literally was talking about
such a
how,
good book.
oh my
Great book, bro.
gosh,
Such a good
the
book.
greatest.
Such a good
Every
book.
man needs to read.
Every man, and I think once we really get that, and you really apply those principles and say, you know what, I'm going to make decisions for myself. I'm gonna break those old agreements. I'm gonna come into these new agreements and
Yep.
live on purpose for that. Like,
Yep.
yeah,
It's really groundbreaking.
changed my life, bro.
So we're gonna get a group hug after this, or what are we doing?
Oh, we're gonna do.
No.
I'm
gonna do a group hug.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, God bless y'all.
He don't want to be
I
touched.
think-
I don't want to be touched.
God bless
I'm still in my healing phase.
Right.
Owl.
I'm still in my
That
healing
is
phase.
hilarious, man. But yes, we definitely gonna do a group hug. But even to the listeners or the females that's listening, that you have a man, like, give him some space, and then to the men that are listening, like, it's okay
Take your
to take that space. Yeah,
They're probably tired.
they probably are.
They're tired, exhausted,
Yeah.
afraid to say it,
Yeah,
lost, confused, don't know which way to go, but they're
Mhm.
expected to have the way. They're
Have the
expected to
answers,
have
yeah.
vision.
Yep.
They're expected to know what the family's going to be doing. They're
Yep.
expected to know how the bills are going to get paid. They're expected to know all this
Yeah.
stuff, and they are exhausted.
tired. Yeah, tired.
I mean, even God made David rest in Psalm
Facts.
23. He said,
Yeah.
"He maketh me lie
lie
down.
down.
He maketh me."
Yep.
He made him lie down in green pastures.
Even Jesus withdrew from the crowd, from the people, from the disciples. Like,
So we need that.
yeah, we need it.
We do.
I was watching the documentary called "The Murder Next American Murder Next Door" on Netflix, and it was talking about
You
the
got
guy.
a dark. Kind of dark.
But it was talking about a guy. Like, I thought about it because you start talking about they're tired. They're just exhausted. But he literally murdered his wife and 2 daughters.
Oh, you talking about the guy that they put his 2 daughters in the oil bin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching. I was just like,
bro.
What draws a man to that? Like,
he found someone
Somebody
else. He
else.
found another woman
Mhm.
who was listening to him,
Yeah.
all those different things. And that fantasy world took him so far out of reality
Period.
Mhm.
that he suffocated his wife.
Yeah.
And then I mean, two little precious
Drove them
girls.
an hour and a half. Like, I
And
mean,
threw
I
him in
think
an
an
oil
hour and a
drum.
half would just literally make me think, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You are spiraling. You are losing your mind right now. Like,
And they were still the
they were
daughter's
still
they're still
alive.
alive.
They asking
Because his
about mom
daughter
she's laying on the floor.
said his second daughter said, "Don't no daddy, no
Yeah,
daddy, no
yep.
daddy."
Mhm. And he still did it.
It's like, you know, it's at that point where you just snap.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we always ask the question, well, we always talk about the snapping,
Yeah.
but never the process that brought somebody to snap.
But that was the part that I kept hearing at the end. Everybody kept saying, like, yes, he's a monster, but it was like his wife had to drive him. Like, she was just loud and this and that. But I'm like, no one will never know what drove him to that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
Yeah.
And everyone will have the input of like, well, it couldn't have been that bad. You don't know.
You don't know. A lot of men out here are suffering. And here's the thing, they won't tell you.
They're not going to.
They won't tell you.
They're not
And
going
they'll
to.
show up to church
Mhm.
because we're performance oriented. We're good
Yep.
boys.
Yep.
We're men of God.
Mhm.
We show up to preach. I never forget there was a pastor who didn't show up to preach. And he sent his wife and his kids to service.
And he killed
They got
himself in the car, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Mhm. In
Killed him.
Macon. Yeah, I believe it was in Macon.
And it was just like, you know, people would say, well, why in the world would he do something like that? Or they'll say, that's selfish.
Yep.
He killed himself in the car.
Yeah.
But you never
You never
know the pain
Yep.
that a lot of people hide behind a smile.
Facts.
You preach and you assume,
Yeah.
oh, he preached well.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that preach ain't nothing but an act, bro.
He needs a hug.
Yep.
He needs a hug.
Yeah.
That man need a hug. He might need some Crown Royal.
Mhm. I mean, be real.
He
You
might need
gotta
some
have
Crown
that, yeah.
Royal. He might need a
Mhm.
good cigar.
Yep.
It might need a good fire to sit next to with
Facts.
some other brothers
Exactly.
and just
And
hear
just
them
let it
talk
out.
about and
Yeah.
just let it out. Scream.
Yep.
Scream, yell, hit
Mhm.
something, you know, chop up some wood,
Yep.
taking us back to that primal age
Absolutely.
to let out that little boy who always wanted to punch
Yeah.
something, but mama said,
Yeah,
don't hit that.
Yep.
Put your hands down. You
Mhm.
better not do that. Get off that couch.
Yep.
But we want to jump off something. We want to tear down a
Yeah.
tree. Then you
Yeah.
take the sword out of our hand and you put a pen in our hand, or you
Mhm.
put something. You trying to tell us to just be good. Then you paint Jesus out to be this latte drinking,
Right.
you know, nomad.
Yep. That's that domestication, man.
Legit. But the Jesus I know was turning over tables and
Yeah. Telling people exactly what he felt, how he felt.
he called them vipers.
Vipers.
So
you
you still in this, AD?
No.
We gonna give him a hug. All right, so let's just, what's
No.
your prescription to the patients tonight?
No. I
Oh.
don't want to be here. No,
Oh.
I'm just playing. I'm just
To every joke, there is some truth.
To
Yes.
every
no,
joke, there
because
is
it
some
got real, and I was
It
like,
did
Right,
get real. He
yeah.
got quiet.
He did.
I,
He started to like digress and look
I
at other
reclused.
stuff.
I
Mhm.
said, all right.
Yeah.
Well, what's your prescription?
What's your prescription tonight? You got one?
Nah, because I probably need.
All right, David, will give us the prescription.
I'm gonna go feel
Here
the
we go.
ones y'all give me.
I don't know, man. Mine is to listen to this over again.
That's
Wow.
good. That's
Just
good.
revisit,
That's a
study
good
this
prescription.
conversation. There's a lot being said, and you can learn a lot.
Yeah.
Cornelius.
I would agree with that. It has been a lot that's been said, a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
I love that you also mentioned about the women who are listening,
Mhm.
because I bet a lot of them are saying, okay, so I hear all this, but what am I supposed to do?
Right.
And if there's anything that I could encourage them in doing is don't try to be his mama
Right. Or his solution.
or his solution, because that's not what he wanted you for.
No.
He wanted you to be his partner, not his solution.
Yes.
I know in church we try to tell
Right.
people that you're gonna come in there to complete me, but no,
Mm-mm.
Jesus completes me.
Absolutely.
You compliment me.
Come on.
That's it. Just
Come on.
compliment.
Yeah.
Literally, compliment.
And I would encourage all the ladies, it's a little low plug, but I have a book out called Cripple Kings. I would encourage you to get that book and read that. Well, guys, this has been the Painkillers.
I don't know.
We
how
talk
much
your pain away.
pain I done killed. But
He was over there texting all of his exes.
nah, I ain't got nothing to say to them niggas.
Oh.
I was
Never mind.
I was over here like, man.
Just trying to ignore it.
Yeah, I was. I was
I
right.
know
I was writing my
I know
notes.
Checked out.
I know you.
Oh yeah, like
Checked out.
it. No, I didn't check out. I was listening. It's just certain things. It, you know, you just be like, man. And then certain times you wonder, like, when did I get to this place?
Well, maybe this year, Cornelius would invite us to the ranch
Already,
you know, like,
I was actually gonna do that when we got out.
okay.
I got two
He's
spots
already-
open.
yeah.
South
Yeah.
Carolina and Wyoming. Montana's full, but South Carolina and Wyoming. Wyoming is a movie. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. That's where the shooting at.
Oh man, it's everything you can think of. Just think about being in the middle of nowhere
It's
in
by
a valley
Kanye place?
between,
It's by Kanye Place.
about 2 hours away. I think he sold it,
He
but
did.
Yeah,
he sold it. He sold it about 2 hours. It's literally in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But when you get there, you talking about being able to experience God in an entirely new way. Refuge to me is church.
Yeah.
I get more out of that
Yeah.
than I do Sunday morning.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
5 days. But I go probably 4 times a year.
Got you.
Yeah.
That's
I got
good.
you.
That's good.
But y'all actually got to
went-
come. Don't be sitting here talking about if you're going to come, then y'all Negroes don't show up.
I'm ready all the time.
I'm going. Yeah, he invited me. I think it was like our first meeting. He was like, "Yeah, you gonna come?" I was like, "Wait a minute, hold up. All right, no, I'm down for that."
Put
type
an
stuff.
AR in your hands, man. Sit there.
I don't know if he need an AR right now.
I do.
Oh,
I need to-
Lord.
I do. I got so much, Lord. My counselor charging me overtime. right
Listen,
now.
listen, listen. All right, guys. Thank y'all for being on the show tonight, man.
we
This has
appreciate
been Marquis.
y'all so much. And AD.
Hey, this is the Painkillers, man. We're just here to talk your pain away. Until next time.
See you soon.